Hello, my dear English learners. Welcome back to today's class. I hope you are well and doing well. You've learned the rules, you've memorized the words, you've watched the lessons, yet when it's time to speak English, the words simply don't come out. Why does this happen? What if the real problem is not your English level, but the way you have trained your brain? In this video, I will show you how successful English speakers train their minds differently. And by the end, you'll discover a simple brain training system that can completely change the way you learn English. Comment below, does your brain go blank when you try to speak English? Yes or no? Chapter 1. Why your brain understands English but cannot speak it. You understand more English than you can speak. This is one of the most common problems for English learners. You watch videos. You understand movies. You even understand simple conversations, but when it is your turn to speak, your mind becomes blank. You feel stuck, you feel slow, you know the answer in your mind, but you cannot say it in English. This is not your fault. This is not because you are weak. This is because your brain has learned English in the wrong way. Think about your real life. When someone speaks to you in your native language, you answer without thinking. You do not translate. You do not search for words. The sentence comes automatically, but in English, everything changes. Your brain stops. It starts working like a machine trying to calculate every word. That is why speaking feels difficult. You are trying to build sentences in real time instead of letting them flow naturally. Now understand something very important. Your brain already knows English, but it knows English in a passive way. That means your brain can recognize English, but it cannot produce it quickly. Watching videos and reading texts build recognition, but speaking needs production. These are two different skills. And this is the reason you feel a gap between understanding and speaking. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt this in your mind? You hear a sentence in English. You understand it clearly. You even think of a reply in your own language. But before you can convert it into English, the moment is gone. The conversation has moved forward, and you are left silent. This moment happens again and again, and slowly it creates fear inside you. You start believing that English speaking is very difficult. But the truth is different. The problem is not English. The problem is the speed of your brain training. Your brain is not trained for English conversation. It is trained for translation. Every time you try to speak English, your brain follows 3 steps. First, you think in your native language. Then you translate it into English. Then you try to speak. This process is slow. Native speakers do not do this. Fluent speakers do not do this. They think directly in English. That is why they speak fast and naturally. Now imagine if your brain could skip translation. Imagine if English words came directly in your mind without effort. Speaking would feel easy. You would not feel pressure. You would not feel fear. You would just speak. This is not a talent. This is training. And your brain can be trained. You must also understand another truth. Your brain loves comfort. It always chooses the easiest path. If you always translate, your brain will keep translating. If you always stay silent, your brain will remain silent. But if you start forcing your brain to think in English, even in small ways, it slowly begins to change. At first it feels strange, then it feels slow, but one day it starts feeling natural. Many learners make one big mistake. They think they need more grammar before speaking. They think they need more vocabulary before speaking. So they keep studying, they keep waiting. But speaking never comes, because speaking is not a result of knowledge alone. Speaking is a result of practice under real-time pressure. You do not need perfect English to speak. You need trained English response. Let me give you a simple picture. Think of your brain like a path in a forest. If you walk on the same path every day, it becomes clear and easy. But if you create a new path, at first it is difficult. There are stones, there are bushes. But if you walk that new path every day, it becomes your normal road. English speaking works the same way. Right now, your brain uses the translation path. That is why it is slow. You need to create a new path called direct English thinking. This is why you feel stuck even after learning English for years. You did not fail. You just trained the wrong skill. You trained understanding instead of speaking. You trained recognition instead of response. And now your brain needs a new type of practice. The good news is this: your brain is flexible. It can change at any age. You are not too late. You are not behind. You just need the right method. And once you start training your brain correctly, even small changes will feel powerful. You will notice that you pause less. You will notice that you search for words less. You will notice that English starts coming faster in your mind. So now I want you to hold this thought. Your problem is not English. Your problem is translation habit, and habits can be changed. Slowly, step by step, with the right practice. In the next chapter, you will understand something even more powerful. You will learn how your brain actually learns languages in a natural way. Once you understand this, you will never feel confused about English learning again. Chapter 2: How Your Brain Really Learns a Language. Now you already understand one important truth. Your problem is not English. Your problem is the way your brain has been trained. In this chapter, you will go deeper. You will understand how your brain actually learns a language. And once you understand this, English will feel less confusing and more natural. Your brain is not a machine that memorizes rules. Your brain is a living system. It learns from patterns, emotions, and repetition. It does not learn well from pressure or fear. It learns when something is repeated again and again in small, natural ways. This is how you learned your first language as a child. You did not study grammar. You did not memorize word lists. You listened. You observed. You repeated what you heard. Slowly, your brain built understanding. Think about it. A small child does not understand grammar rules, but still, the child speaks fluently in their language. Why? Because the brain learns through exposure, not explanation. The child hears the same words every day. The brain starts connecting words with situations. When someone says water, the child sees water. When someone says come here, the child sees movement. This connection builds natural understanding. Now look at your English learning journey. Most learners do the opposite. They study rules first. They memorize vocabulary in lists. They try to understand everything before using it. But their brain does not get enough real exposure. So the words stay in memory, but they do not become natural. Your brain needs repetition in real situations, not just reading, not just writing, real listening, real speaking, real context. When your brain sees a word again and again in different situations, it starts to trust that word. And when the brain trusts something, it becomes automatic. Let me explain this in a simple way. Imagine you hear the word hungry one time in a textbook. You might forget it. But if you hear it in a video, then in a conversation, then in a movie, and then in your daily practice, your brain starts saying, I know this word. I have seen it before. This is how memory becomes strong. Many learners think they have a bad memory, but that is not true. The problem is not memory. The problem is weak exposure. Your brain simply did not see the word enough times in real use. When exposure increases, memory also becomes strong. Now, here is something very important. Your brain does not store isolated words very well. It stores patterns better. That means phrases are more powerful than single words. For example, learning take a shower is easier for your brain than learning take and shower separately, because your brain remembers how words are used together. This is why many learners understand English, but cannot speak it. They learn words separately. But speaking needs ready-made patterns. Your brain needs sentences, not just words. When you learn full phrases, Your brain starts building ready structures. And when speaking time comes, you do not build sentences, you just use them. Now think about your daily life. You already have patterns in your native language. You do not think before speaking basic sentences. You just use them. English can become the same for you. But only if you train your brain with patterns instead of pressure. Another important truth is this: your brain learns better when it is relaxed. If you are stressed, your brain focuses on fear, not learning. If you are relaxed, your brain absorbs more. That is why you may notice that you remember English better when you're watching something interesting, because your brain is calm and open. So what does this mean for you? It means you do not need to force English. You need to expose your brain to English daily in a natural way. Even small exposure is powerful if it is consistent. 10 minutes every day is better than 2 hours once a week. Because repetition builds neural connections. Your brain is like a garden. If you water it every day, it grows. If you ignore it, it dries. English is the same. Daily contact is more powerful than heavy study sessions. Now I want you to think about something. You are not learning English for exams. You are training your brain for communication. That is a completely different goal. Communication needs speed, patterns, and automatic responses, not perfection. In the next chapter, you will learn something that changes everything for learners. You will discover why translating in your head is the biggest barrier to fluency and how to slowly remove it. Once you understand this, your speaking speed will begin to change. Chapter 3. Stop translating everything in your head. Now we come to one of the biggest reasons you feel slow in English. It is not grammar. It is not vocabulary. It is something inside your mind. It is translation. You know this moment very well. Someone asks you a simple question in English. You understand it. But before you answer, your brain starts working in 3 steps. First, you think in your native language. Then you try to convert it into English. Then you speak. This sounds normal to you. But this is the reason you feel slow and nervous. Fluent speakers do not do this. They do not translate. They think directly in English. That is why their speech is fast and natural. But your brain is still using the translation habit. And this habit is slowing you down every time you try to speak. Now I want you to understand something important. Translation is not wrong in learning, but it is dangerous in speaking, because speaking needs speed, and translation takes time. Even if it takes only a few seconds, those seconds break your confidence. You start feeling pressure. You start feeling fear. And slowly you avoid speaking. Think about this simple situation. You want to say, I am tired. But in your mind, you first think, main thak gaya hoon. Then you try to convert it into English. By the time you finish thinking, the moment is gone. This delay feels small, but it creates a big mental block. Now imagine if your brain did not translate. Imagine the sentence, I am tired, comes directly in your mind. No middle step, no delay, no confusion. Speaking becomes easy. This is not magic. This is training. Your brain is powerful, but it is lazy. It follows what you repeat. If you keep translating every day, it becomes your habit. But if you slowly force your brain to think in English, it can change. At first, it will feel strange. You may feel slow. You may even feel uncomfortable. But this is normal. Every new skill feels like this in the beginning. Now let me show you a simple way to break this habit. Start with your surroundings. Look around you. Try to name things in English. Chair, door, window, fan. Do not overthink. Just say the words in your mind. This is your first step to thinking in English directly. Then move to actions. When you're walking, think I am walking. When you're eating, think I am eating. When you're sitting, think I am sitting. These are very small sentences, but they are powerful. Because you are training your brain to connect English with real life. Another powerful method is self-talk. Talk to yourself in English inside your mind. Ask simple questions. What am I doing now? What do I want to eat? Where am I going? And try to answer in simple English. You do not need perfect sentences. You only need flow. Now here's something very important. Do not try to become perfect. Many learners stop themselves because they think, my English is not correct. This thinking kills progress. Right now, your goal is not perfection. Your goal is speed and thinking in English. Even if your sentences are very simple, it is okay. Even if your grammar is not perfect, it is okay, because fluency comes before accuracy. You first need flow, then you can improve structure. One more powerful trick is to reduce your inner translation step by step. At first, you will still translate. That is fine. But after translating, try to repeat the sentence again in English in your mind without your native language. This small habit slowly trains your brain to skip translation. You will notice something interesting. At first, your brain will resist. It will feel slow. But after some days, you will start recognizing simple patterns faster. Words will come more naturally. You will pause less. Now I want you to remember this. Translation is not your enemy forever. It is just a stage, but if you stay in this stage too long, you will never become fluent. You must slowly move beyond it. Think of it like training wheels on a bicycle. At first they help you, but if you never remove them, you will never learn balance. Translation is the same. It helps in understanding, but it stops fluency if you depend on it too much. You are now ready to move to the next level of training. In the next chapter, you will learn how to build daily habits that can rewire your brain for English automatically. This is where real transformation begins. Chapter 4: Rewire your brain with daily English habits. Now you already know something very important. English is not just a subject. It is a habit of the brain, and habits are not built in one day. They are built slowly through daily actions. Most learners fail not because English is hard, but because they are not consistent. They study for one day with full energy. Then they stop for many days. Then they start again. This stop and start pattern confuses the brain. Your brain does not know what to learn permanently, so it does not build strong connections. Your brain loves repetition. It learns from what you do again and again, not from what you do once in a while. That is why small daily habits are more powerful than long study sessions. Now I want you to imagine something. Just 20 minutes every day. Not pressure, not stress, just simple English habits. Listening, thinking, speaking a little. Reading simple sentences. If you do this daily, your brain will slowly start changing. You will not notice it in one day, but after some weeks you will feel it. Let us talk about listening first. Many learners ignore listening, but listening is the first step of speaking. Your brain needs input before output. If you listen to English every day, your brain starts understanding patterns, rhythm, and common sentences. You do not need difficult content. Even simple English videos are enough. Now think about speaking. Many learners are afraid to speak because they think they will make mistakes. But speaking is not about being correct. Speaking is about training your mouth and brain to work together. Even simple sentences like, I am going to work, or I am eating food, are powerful practice. You do not need someone to speak with. You can speak alone. Yes, alone. Talk to yourself in English. Describe your day. Say what you are doing. At first it feels strange, but slowly it becomes normal. This is how confidence grows. Now let us talk about reading. Reading simple English helps your brain see correct sentence structures again and again. But do not choose difficult texts. Choose easy content. If it is too hard, your brain will feel pressure, and pressure kills learning. Another powerful habit is repetition of phrases. Not single words. Phrases, for example, I want to go, I am learning English. I feel happy today. When you repeat full sentences, your brain starts saving them as ready patterns. Then you can use them in real life without thinking. Now here is something very important. You do not need a perfect routine. You just need a simple routine you can follow every day. Even if you are busy, even if you are tired, you should still stay connected with English. Even 10 minutes is enough. But it must be daily. Your brain changes through signals. Every time you study English, your brain receives a signal. This is important. When you repeat this signal daily, your brain starts adapting. Slowly, English becomes normal for your mind. Many learners wait for motivation. But motivation is not stable. Some days you feel excited, some days you feel lazy. That is normal. But habits do not depend on motivation. Habits work even when motivation is missing. Think about brushing your teeth. You do not think too much, you just do it. English should become like that. A small daily habit, not a big emotional task. Now I want you to understand one deep truth. You are not just learning English, you are rewiring your brain. Every time you listen, speak, or think in English, you are building new pathways inside your mind. These pathways become stronger with time. At the beginning, everything feels slow. You may feel like nothing is improving, but learning is silent at first. Growth happens inside the brain before it becomes visible outside, so do not stop early. If you stay consistent for even a few weeks, you will notice small changes. You will understand faster. You will hesitate less. You will recognize words more easily. These are signs that your brain is changing. Now you are ready for the next step. In the next chapter, you will learn why you forget English words so easily and how to fix your memory in a natural way. This will help you stop forgetting and start remembering English forever. Chapter 5. Train your brain to remember English forever. Many learners feel frustrated because they forget English very quickly. You learn a word today, you feel confident. But after a few days, it disappears from your mind. Then you think, my memory is weak. But the truth is different. Your memory is not weak. The way you are learning is weak. Your brain does not store everything you see or hear. Your brain only keeps what feels useful, repeated, or connected to real life. If something is used only once, your brain thinks it is not important. So it removes it. This is how the brain protects itself from overload. Now think about your situation. You may be learning hundreds of words, but you're not using them in real situations. You are not seeing them again and again in different contexts, so your brain does not keep them for long. That is why forgetting happens. Let me tell you something simple. Memory is not about effort. Memory is about exposure. The more you meet a word in different places, the stronger it becomes in your brain. One-time learning is weak, but repeated exposure is powerful. Now I want you to imagine a word like happy. If you see it only in a list, your brain forgets it. But if you hear it in a video, then in a conversation, then in a story, then in your own speaking practice, your brain starts saying, I know this word. I have seen it many times. This is how memory becomes strong and permanent. Another important truth is this. Your brain remembers feelings better than random information. If you feel something while learning, you remember it longer. That is why you remember emotional moments in your life so clearly. English can work the same way if you connect it with real meaning. Instead of memorizing isolated words, learn them in sentences. For example, do not just learn the word eat. Learn I eat rice, I eat breakfast, I eat with my family. Now your brain has context. It knows how the word is used in real life. This is very important. Your brain does not think in single words. Your brain thinks in chunks. That means groups of words together. When you learn chunks, your speaking becomes faster. You do not build sentences from zero. You just use ready patterns. Now let us talk about a big mistake. Many learners try to memorize too much in one day. They sit for hours. They try to force information into their brain. But this does not work. Your brain needs time to process. Learning should be small and repeated, not heavy and stressful. A better method is spaced repetition. This means you see the same word again after some time. Not immediately, not too late, but again and again over days. Every time you see it again, your brain becomes more familiar with it. Slowly, it becomes permanent. Now think about your daily life. You do not need to sit and study vocabulary for hours. You can learn from small moments. A video you watch, a sentence you hear, a phrase you repeat while speaking. These small moments are enough if they repeat often. Another powerful method is using new words in your own sentences. This is very important. If you only read or listen, you may forget. But if you use the word yourself, your brain becomes active. Active learning is always stronger than passive learning. For example, if you learn the word busy, do not stop there. Say, I am busy today, or I am busy with work. When you use it, your brain connects meaning with action. And this connection creates strong memory. Now I want you to understand something deeper. Forgetting is not failure. Forgetting is part of learning. Every time you forget and relearn something, your memory becomes stronger than before. So do not panic when you forget. Just repeat it again. You are not trying to store information like a machine. You are training your brain like a muscle. And muscles grow with repetition, not pressure. The more you practice, the stronger your English memory becomes. If you start using English in real life, even in small ways, your memory will improve naturally. Because your brain will see English as useful, not just as study material, and useful things stay longer in memory. Now you are getting closer to fluency. In the next chapter, you will learn how to defeat fear and build real confidence in speaking English. This is the step where many learners stop, but if you continue, your transformation becomes real. Chapter 6. Defeat fear, build confidence, and speak without panic. Now we come to something very real, something most English learners never talk about openly. It is not grammar. It is not vocabulary. It is fear. You may know English, you may understand English, but when you have to speak, your heart beats fast. Your mind becomes empty. You start thinking, what if I make a mistake? What if people laugh? What if I forget words? And in that moment, you stay silent. This fear is more powerful than your English level. Even if your English is good, fear can block your speech. That is why many learners stay silent for years, not because they cannot speak, but because they are afraid to speak. Now I want you to understand something very important. Every fluent speaker you see today was once a beginner. They also made mistakes. They also forgot words. They also spoke broken English. But they continued. They did not wait to become perfect. They accepted mistakes as part of learning. Your fear comes from one idea. The idea that you must speak perfect English. But this idea is false. No one speaks perfect English all the time. Even native speakers make mistakes in daily life. So expecting perfection from yourself is unfair. Now think about a child learning to walk. The child falls many times, but the child does not stop. The child does not say, I am not good at walking. The child simply tries again. That is how confidence is built. Not by thinking, but by doing again and again. Confidence is not something you are born with. Confidence is something you build. Every time you speak, even with mistakes, you become stronger. Every attempt makes your brain less afraid. Now let us talk about your inner voice. That voice that says, my English is bad. I will make mistakes. People will judge me. This voice is not telling the truth. It is only fear speaking, and fear always tries to stop growth. You must learn to speak even when you feel uncomfortable. Because comfort will never build fluency. Only action builds fluency. The first few times will feel strange. Your sentences may be simple. Your pronunciation may not be perfect. That is completely fine. Start small. Speak simple sentences. I am learning English. I am going to work. I feel happy today. These small sentences are powerful. They train your mouth and brain to work together. Another powerful method is self-practice. Speak alone in your room. No pressure, no judgment, just you and English. Describe what you see. Talk about your day. Talk about your thoughts. This removes fear slowly. Now listen carefully. Mistakes are not your enemy. Mistakes are your teachers. Every mistake shows you what to improve. If you avoid mistakes, you avoid learning, so you must accept them. Many learners wait until they feel confident, but confidence does not come before speaking. Confidence comes after speaking. You speak first, then confidence grows. Now imagine something. Imagine you speak English without fear. You do not care about mistakes. You focus only on communication. You express your thoughts freely. This is real fluency, not perfect grammar, but free expression. You do not need to impress anyone. You only need to express yourself. That is the real purpose of language. Communication, not perfection. Every time you speak, your brain becomes stronger. It learns, I can do this. And slowly, fear reduces, not in one day, but step by step. Now I want you to take this seriously. Fear is not permanent. It is just a habit of thinking, and habits can be changed. If you replace fear with action, fear loses power. In the beginning, you may feel nervous, but do it anyway, because courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is speaking even when you are afraid. Now you are very close to transformation. In the next and final chapter, you will learn a complete system to train your brain for English fluency step by step. This will bring everything together into one simple method you can follow every day. Chapter 7: The Complete Brain Training System for English Fluency. Now everything starts coming together. You have understood many important truths. You know why you cannot speak. You know how your brain learns. You know why translation slows you down. You know how habits build fluency. You know how memory works. You also know how to deal with fear. Now the question is simple. What should you actually do every day? Let me make it very simple for you. English fluency is not one big secret. It is a small daily system. If you follow it daily, your brain slowly changes. If you stop, your progress slows down. That is it. First, start your day with listening. Even 10 to 15 minutes is enough. Listen to simple English. Do not try to understand every word. Just listen and follow the meaning. Your brain needs daily exposure. Without listening, your brain stays slow in English. Next, think in English during your normal day. When you wake up, try simple thoughts like, I am waking up. When you eat, think I am eating. When you walk, think I am walking. These small thoughts are very powerful. They slowly remove translation from your mind. Then speak to yourself. This is very important. You do not need a partner. You can speak alone. Talk about your day. Talk about what you see. Use simple sentences. Do not worry about mistakes. Just speak. Even 5 minutes is enough. Now add reading. Read very simple English, not difficult books, not complex articles, easy sentences. Your goal is not to study. Your goal is to see English again and again in natural form. This builds recognition and confidence. Also, repeat useful phrases every day. Do not learn thousands of words. Learn small sentences you can actually use. For example, I am learning English, I want to improve, I feel tired, I am going out. These sentences become your building blocks. Now here is the most important part. Do this every day. Not sometimes. Not when you feel motivated. Every single day. Even if it is 10 minutes. Even if you are tired. Even if you are busy. Consistency is what changes your brain. Your brain does not change in one day. It changes slowly. Every time you listen, speak, or think in English, you are creating new pathways in your brain. At first, it feels slow, but one day you will notice something different. English will feel easier. Words will come faster. You will not stop to translate as much. Many learners think fluency is a talent, but it is not. It is training, just like going to the gym. You do not build muscles in one day. You build them with daily practice. English is the same. Your brain needs repetition, not pressure. Now I want you to imagine your future. Imagine you can speak English without fear. You can express your thoughts clearly. You understand movies without stress. You feel confident in conversations. This is not a dream. This is the result of daily training, but only if you stay consistent. You do not need perfect English. You need trained English. You do not need big words. You need clear thoughts. You do not need to be fast today. You need to be steady every day. Now everything depends on one decision. Will you continue the same old habits? Or will you start training your brain differently from today? Because the truth is simple. Your brain is ready. You just need to guide it. If this video helped you understand English in a new way, then like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps the channel grow and brings more lessons like this for you. And now tell me in the comments, what is your biggest struggle in English right now? Is it speaking, vocabulary, listening, grammar, or confidence? I read every comment. And your answer may help create the next video. Keep learning, keep practicing, and remember, your brain can be trained. English is not far from you anymore.